wasn't sure if I was going to jump on here, but I wanted to bring you with me on, for those of you who are following, you know, we started a bear yesterday, and I was making it a little bit smaller, and this is kind of the rendition of the bear, this Kodiak bear or the brown bear or like a grizzly. They're similar in real life. They're different sizes and and have different behaviors a little bit. So this guy, I wanted to make a smaller rendition of him. So this is WIP. He's not done yet, but he's definitely getting there. So he's got some form to him, and I wanted to bring you along with me on that. So I'm going to pretty much put the camera down so you can see. And I just wanted to get some wool before I do that. And I think I need to maybe close these a little bit to get, yeah, the light, it would be a little bit better that way. So, yeah, I have some of that brown. And I actually found the darker brown. So what I'm going to do is use that to make some renditions or sculptures of the black bear, which we have here in Vermont. So I think that's like really great. I have definitely enough. And when you get to this point, oh, so by the way, if you are new to the channel, we create with all recycled materials, fabrics, and supplies. And it's our way to give the earth a little hug. And if you're coming back, thank you so much for coming back. As you know, we have a lot of projects that we're working on. Now, I need to, I have a number of samples for a class upcoming for the Granny Squares. But I want to get them more samples, simple projects that they can do and put together. So I am going to kind of go into a little bit of a Granny Square craze for a little bit and for the next few days, and have these complete for my class for well, hello, me. Hello. That's my little finch that you hear. Let's see if we can get her on. They're all bundled up, or their cages. There's our, right there is the mobile we made the other day, together yesterday. There's a finches. Hello, me. Hello. So I have layered quilts on their cage. They're so tiny, you do not want them to get cold. We're going to be needle felting some little finches like that too. I've cut out some different variations of birds' shapes that I really like. So we're going to be doing that. But this is, so this is the bear thus far. And I'm going to put the camera down and just do a little needle felting kind of around his legs, because that's where I just attached the legs. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the anatomy of the legs. And so here, and I'm going to take out some of the color that it's similar to this. It's very similar, and I think it's actually from the same sheep. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to splay, because I'm going to very shortly put this on. That's what I came on here, is to kind of show you this part of it. And I may not complete the bear with you, because I always, you know, just kind of fuss over it a little bit more for, that's what takes me so long, I know. But this is the thing. I do it because I know what I want it to look like. So look, we've got all of this. That's splay. And splay is just a very thin layer that you can just about see through of the wool. okay? And we're going to be using that to cover this bear very shortly. So let me see. Yes, this is why I like the plastic bags. And you set, once you get your wool, now some of you may be buying it. We don't need this much, actually. I only need this much. But some of you may be buying it, through a store. And so you may be getting it in teeny tiny little bags. And one of my students or participants, I like to say artisans, because we're doing a work class, so they're not like truly like a student, like repeating class every time. So one of the artisans or creatives asked me, she's like, and I get this question all the time, but she's like, is roving the same as this wool? And it's not. And there's actually variations of wool that is processed and you may get. So roving, just for those of you who don't know and you're stopping by tonight, and thank you for being here, roving is a wool that dyed or not dyed, but it's been at least carded and combed. And I don't like working with roving, and I'm just throwing this out there. Some of the YouTubers may know, they may not know, they probably don't know. But when they promote just roving, for example, for you to make a piece like this, like a little, isn't that adorable, this little owl? But let's say they're showing you how to make this with all roving. Roving is expensive. It is more expensive than your raw wool. You can get raw wool from a sheep's farm, maybe locally where you are or nearby in your state. You can find them. There is the sheep's farm I get it from. I'm so afraid to give her name because I think everyone's going to now contact her, but no, you can contact her and get some wool. She has a website. It's called Ash Grove, and I've said this name many times. It's on my channel, Ash Grove Farm VT. So it's right here in Vermont. But you can order wool from her. So you can get wool like this, which is raw wool, or you can get the carded roving, which is very soft. The problem is I'm going to see if I have any here. I might have some, yeah. Here, I'm going to show you what roving is. So this is roving, okay? Do you see how it's going all one way and it's super duper soft and all that? This is raw wool. So the hooks and the fiber of the raw wool are going to needle felt much better than this. And what do I mean by that? I don't mean that this isn't going to needle felt, but this is going all one way. And when they show you, I just cringe. I cringe when they do this. But they'll show you like how to wrap it around something like this, and then they say just needle felt it. You know what I mean? So what's going to happen is you are going to use so much roving to get whatever it is you're like, because what it's going to do is do this. It's going to keep flattening, flattening, flattening. So this, because it's raw wool, you're getting so much more. It's hooking into the other fibers of the wool, and you're just going to get a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece, 3D piece, or a piece like this that's much more substantial than if you're working with roving. So roving, what I'm saying, it could run into a lot of money to get a lot of it, especially if you want to be a sculptress. You want to make a piece like this, and so it's going to require you to have a good amount of wool, okay, so to work with, and to shape your your 3D, whatever it is that you're doing. Now, there's so many different things you can do with needle felting. You can do your sculptures, you can do creative art pieces. If you haven't, we're gonna review here the dolls and the collectibles that they make. Some of the needle felting artists, because they just do such a beautiful job. So anyway, I'm just pulling some of this apart because I want to, and I'm going to put the camera down so you can actually see. Okay, I'm working on this piece. Let's see, that's kind of needs to be up a tiny. Whoops, I don't know if I can get it. Oh, I know, I may have to just put something here to leverage it. Let's see if it's going to let me do that without. There we go. Okay, so I think you can see that pretty good. Now, what I'm doing is I just want to reinforce and shape the legs a little bit. And usually I have just like a tiny little piece of polyester. I might have it right here. I usually have, yeah, like this is fine. Let me just kind of flatten that a little. This is not wool, okay? This right here is polyester. It looks like wool, but it's not. So what you do is take a little piece like that and just put it between whatever it is, legs, arms, the limbs of the piece, whatever it is you're making, under the head or whatever. And it just holds it and separates it from the other leg, let's say, because what I want to do is just get a little bit, and I'm just going to remove it now because I showed that to you. And I just want to get a little bit more wool here for the moment on this particular leg. But having a little piece, they call them like little molding pieces is what it is. And it's very nice because it just helps you separate once you have your full sculpture, like your sculpture is getting near completion and you want to reinforce different parts of it, but you don't want them to needle felt into each other. This is just a wonderful little tool to have. And I can work easily and not worry that this leg is going to needle felt into the other leg. Because before I knew, like many years ago, before I knew about all these little tips and tricks, it was difficult. I was like needle felting and I'm like, okay, well, this isn't working. And, like that, before I really got the idea on different ways that I can, different tools I can use in different ways to needle felt to get a more effective piece. So today this piece took me a little bit longer because what I was trying to do is, and I did succeed, but I was trying to make it smaller. And I'm going to actually be working on the legs after I add the brown sheep's wool to this piece. I'm going to be coming back and shaping these. Now, the anatomy of the brown bear is basically the front legs are a little bit longer, the back slopes a little, i.e., so the back legs are stocky and they're in proportion with the front, but slightly just in that way a little shorter. So this guy, I was just kind of trying to give him a little movement and, have his legs kind of moving a little bit. So, but he's definitely, even standing, he's not standing well on the pillow here, on the pad, but there he goes. But you can see his back comes down a little and he has a hump. That's the other thing, the hump, right smack in the middle of the shoulders there, is what kinds of gives him a little bit of a slopey um, on his backside, and his face is dished. Now on here, this guy, this head needs to be shaped a little bit more, and I've got the dished shape coming into play here. And what I want to do, I'm going to kind of play around. Do I want his head down? Do I want him walking? You know, like that. So, and I'm going to refine his nose a little. So let's go ahead and add our splay. So, anyway, with the roving, so there's roving, there's raw wool, and then there's what they call batting. So a lot of you quilters out there, you know what the batting is. I'm going to start here, I guess. So you know what the batting is. It's basically kind of like, you know, you might see it in a form like this. This is actually batting, but it is not wool batting. This right here is a polyester batting. There are battings that are 100% wool or maybe mixed. That you can buy, and you buy them typically at the, you know, at your hobby store. But you can get these battings, and you can get these pieces of wool. Look, I just took a pillow apart the other day because I felt like it was totally batting. And you know what it was? All wool. I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you in the next video. It's all wool. And guess what? It's this color. I almost dropped. I could not seriously believe it. I did get it a while ago at the thrift shop. That's kind of why I opened it up to see, okay, I'm going to use it or I'm going to throw it away. You know, because it's not going to be any use. So I would put it, I would have to maybe put it in recycle because I didn't think it was going to be good enough to, at this point, to put in the thrift shop. No, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So, but that's batting. So you get batting. And so it's all, the wool comes in different forms. Typically, it's the raw wool that an artisan will work with, the raw wool like this, because it is far more less expensive, and you can get a bunch of it. It's nice and clean. Maybe it's natural color like this, or maybe it's dyed, but it's definitely more affordable. The roving is usually used maybe like this as a top layer, or as a special coloring that goes on the top. That's typically, you may use it in your, you may see it in the needle felted paintings, where you're painting with, you know, flat needle felting pieces, and you're trying to get some depth to it, and you want to have color in it. That's where you're going to see roving. Okay. So, and I taught that class, and I've done that. And I entered some work well over 20 years ago. Oh gosh, over 25 years ago, actually. Oh my lordy. In a in some exhibits on flat felting that I did. I did not continue the flat felting as I am with my 3D, because I didn't it didn't challenge, I don't know, I don't want to say how to say this, and it's probably just me, but it didn't challenge me to such a degree that I needed more of a challenge. And I guess you could say totally the depth. But I know about depth. I know about this stuff because I draw and paint. And I guess I just chose to apply those techniques more to drawing and painting. But I could apply them, you know, shadowing, depth, layering, all of that to the flat needle felting technique. But yeah, you can do so much with it. The thing is allowing yourself to continue to learn the different techniques as you go along. Like, because you could limit yourself and just decide to learn a few techniques and do that for a while. But at some point, I think it's you surprise yourself if you challenge yourself a little bit on whatever it is you're choosing to do. So you see what I'm doing? I'm just adding the splay. And you can't really expect to look at this though. I'm kind of liking this effect here. I mean, this is how it happens. This is how the creativity happens. Because you know I did Boro Sashiko with my other, my polar bears, or one of my polar bears in particular. And, but you can do different techniques like that. So this little guy, he's just going to get all the brown wool needle felted on by splay, a very thin layer of it on him all around. Is that complete? Absolutely not. I come back around, I will add a second and third layer of splay, but I'm bringing you with me to show you just how I'm doing it and how easily, when it's a thin layer like this, I was explaining this to my students or to my class, the artisans that I was teaching the other night, that when you apply a thin layer and you do it in layers, what happens is it goes on very quickly, and you just work. I'm not saying you're like working against the clock, but I'm saying that it just makes it easier. Now I'm going to use this little tool because you see I have wool over here and I don't want it to go into this leg, and everything's still being shaped. So it will be, that will be my focus after, is shaping, kind of like tightening up and the shaping of the legs, because these are not where I want them to be yet. But I figure I take this step and cover this lovely little brown bear as far as we can here tonight. Well, hello, Mia Mashuki. They want to be turned around. They're usually turned around about this time. So the finches are very routine. They are very smart. And I'm going to tell you a story. Let's see. It's too bad I can't put that up a little more, can I? No, because that's going to... Oh, I guess I can like this. Let's try... I guess we can do it like that. And then maybe we'll put that in the back. No, that's too much. You don't even want to know what I have back. Hang on, guys. Is that going to stand straight? It might stand straight there for a bit. Okay. Hi, Brent. How are you? It's not going to work. Let me just take it out. I was trying to put something back there to hold. I guess you can see this. No, you really can't though. It's too bad. Oh, I know what I can add. I'm just going to add like a folded piece of paper. This will do, because this is all it needs, okay? Yeah, perfect. So this little polyester piece of molding, I put, actually I don't need that right now, but that's pretty much what I use to, as I'm turning this piece. Because when I needle felt these legs, I want to do this top part. There's a couple things. You want to have the piece facing you, okay? And you want to be able to use the up and down motion so you don't have the needle on an angle. So this is what I'm doing right now, just to get the wool splay attached. So I've got a little bit more here. I'm going to bring you along with me on this for a few more minutes, and then I'll talk to you about the next part of what I'm doing with this bear and how I'm completing it. So I'm pulling this all which way. I want it to be a nice little puff of wool. And thank you for being with me today, guys, because I appreciate it. And it makes it much more interesting than just kind of doing this by myself. Plus, if you're learning and you want to know how to just do the basics for the needle felting as you're adding fur to your bear, or which is typically really sheep's wool, but kind of just saying the word fur. I said fur to someone not too long ago, and they go, "It's wool." I just kind of meant the illusion of fur. So you get my drift, okay? So we're just going to add this. And yeah, so the next few days I'm going to have to go into a crocheting frenzy. So with that, what I will do is, I mean, you've seen the granny squares on here. I'm getting ready to do a class on it. So I probably won't come on here and do any more granny squares at this point right now. But I will come on and show you the granny squares that I'm making. You know, I'll show you the ones I've made. So that gives you just a little inspiration. And because, I mean, that's sometimes all it takes. I have a viewer who, she comes on, she emails me and says, "Hey, you really inspired me to, you know, kind of, oh, what was it? Tunisian crochet. So, hi," she said, "I know you're out there." She said, "Hey, you inspired me to try some Tunisian crochet again." And Tunisian crochet, I don't know what it is about that technique or the crochet, but I did the same thing. As a crochetist, you kind of learn it, you know what you're doing, and then you just don't go back to it. It's like, what? I mean, I don't know if it's too simple, okay, because that's kind of partly what it is. But there are lots of other things that we can do with Tunisian crochet that can make it interesting. So I am just now, I think I need more of this. And we do have more. We got that. Now, you can tell this isn't that old. It's less than a year old. I believe this is less than a year old. And it is pretty much kind of melding into itself, or what you call needle, kind of felting into itself. That will occur. That will occur. And once it gets there and you let it sit too long, it's probably best to either donate it to someone who's going to use it or use it, okay? It's like, pull it apart, start working with it, get it into a project. Um, because that's just, look how beautiful that is, though. It's gorgeous. So I'm wrapping around the front leg now. There's no special methodical way, but I am using my little tool. I'm putting it between the upper part of the front legs and the neck area to kind of just keep that separate from the splay that I am now needle felting onto that area. The upper part of the shoulder, underbelly, near the front, and near the head, and kind of wrapping around the front leg. I gotta tell you something. I am so overjoyed to be, and I know some people are gonna laugh at this, but in civilization again. Even though I'm still in the country, in a tiny little town, I feel I'm totally in civilization. I can hear people, I can hear cars. I can see people. I can't tell you how important that is, okay, after a while. I did a video over on Vermont Sun and Shade about SAD, seasonal affective disorder, that we have here in Vermont. And it's primarily a result of a lack of vitamin D, a lack of serotonin, the long, dark days that we have here in Vermont. So we talk a little bit about how to counter that and get through the months, the dark, dark months that we have very little sun. And I guess one of my family members was telling me, yeah, December is the worst because the days are short, and they are really short. I was so unbelievably busy in December, I didn't even notice. But I'm telling you right now, in February, I am noticing that we are like now into 6 weeks of a deep freeze, and I am so sick of it. Okay, do not want, I love, love, love the snow. I love winter. I do prefer the cold, but I do totally prefer coolness over the hot summer months, which is why I'm not like in Florida or hot sick, because I don't like it. I like the cold weather, but I don't like the deep freezes. Okay, I don't like them. And I don't want to be in a deep freeze. We have had, -5, 6, 7, -10. Whoops. My splay. If you don't splay the splay enough in your needle felting, it can go just like it did. Let me just show you. You can see this front leg. It just kind of didn't even do anything. You've got to splay it, okay, which is pull it horizontal, pull it vertical, pull it diagonal. That right there was more of the behavior of roving. That was the behavior of roving. That is kind of what you get. With raw wool, which this is raw wool. The only reason why that happened is I probably wasn't really even paying attention, and I didn't splay it well onto the leg. You got to splay it well, and then it will needle felt into the piece that you have felted or needle felted. Okay, this is much better. I'm going to hold this up and show you what I mean. Okay, this is needle felting. The whole piece is needle felting into the leg, which needs a lot more work, but you'll see after I work on it a little bit more and bring it back into view. But I just wanted to show you the piece because it's not going to look like what you want it to look like right off the bat. It's just not going to happen. You got to work on it, and you got to work on your layers of splay, thin layers, and add them. You got to learn if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But learning different techniques is really very helpful, such as edging, combing, with the needle, using the needle, um, and then sweeping a little bit. All of these are really really helpful because it just allows you to use these techniques as you're applying or needle felting the wool in, because you'll see, oh, maybe I need to sweep it a little bit, you know. So anyway, I just wanted to get on here. I know it's supper time, and I probably picked not a good time to be on here, but I figure I usually have a late supper anyway, because I'm dilly-dallying all with my art, trying to figure out what to do next, and or to finish up something. So I just wanted to jump on here. So I'll show you this piece here. Okay, so you see this one, you see these little pivots there. So learning the technique of the sweeping, you just kind of, when you're all said and done, I wouldn't do it at this point because I'm going to wrap and put more wool, but you just kind of sweep the pivots out. That's what you do. And you smooth out your piece. So that takes time. That's why needle felted pieces do need to be considered a collectible, and they're definitely not a toy. No, they are not a toy, because the wool will lift, and if you have either a vulnerable adult or a child trying to, you know how they put things in their mouth, these would be you see it lifting right there, that would be a choking hazard, big time. And or it can wrap around little fingers. So you need to be super careful on that one. And, or not, it's an heirloom or a collectible or an art piece. So when I say super careful, I mean to be conveying that. So what I'm going to be doing with the head is I'm going to be adding to it a little bit more. I want to bring his nose out to here. I want to narrow it down like that, see? And bring it out a little bit more. I want to bring his head up a little bit. So this is what you do. You just, as you're going along, you study your piece. You figure out what needs to be brought into more perspective or proportion. And you work with it because it's workable. If the legs are too big, as you needle felt them in, they will become, the needle felting piece will become tighter, it will become smaller. You could do it that way, or you could even, because with needle felting pieces, you can cut if you want to, if you feel you need to. And or you can sew. In other words, you can pull them in that way. I mean, most artisans don't do that, but I'm just saying you can. So anyway, with that, I will be back with this beautiful bear. And you see his profile over here, that looks a little longer, and then over here, it kind of doesn't. That's because of the neck. That's the neck that's making the difference there. So I'll be focusing on his neck. I'll be focusing, do I want him looking down? And I kind of feel like I do, but also we're going to be putting a hump here. And the way I'm going to do that is, I just love, this is the thing, once I start working on a piece and I'm shaping it and everything. It's almost like I just can't stop. But this, I will be putting a hump. Now, because the hump is not going to take lots and lots of wool, I'll be working all with the brown wool, the color of the bear for the hump. I won't be like shaping it with any more of the white. I'll be working with the cinnamon brown. So anyway, with that, I hope that helps you a little bit. I hope it inspires you. Get out your needle felting needle, and there are many ways to needle felt, and I'm going to do a video on that. And I think I'm going to do it this week, because I think I know that there's some people out there who maybe don't have access to a bunch of wool, or maybe they can't get to a farm, or they can't buy it online. What other ways can you do needle felting? So I'm going to share those ways, and there's a bunch of, there's multiple ways, and we're going to talk about them, and I am just going to introduce you to those ways, and maybe it's a new avenue for you. So with that, you have an absolutely beautiful evening. Thank you so much for being with me. I'm going to complete my bear in cinnamon. I'm going to name him Cinnamon, and we'll take it from there. I'll be back to show you how beautiful he comes out once he's tweaked a little bit. So with that, you have a beautiful day. And just one more thing, actually, I think I forgot to tell you, his stomach is more like a barrel. His face is dished. I guess I did go over that. The legs in the front are a little bit longer than the legs in the back, and he's very stout. So with that, you have an absolutely beautiful day, and we'll see you in the next one.